Peace. Come to y'all today in the divine name of Original Thought from the tribe of Nimdet. Wait a minute, see, a couple people might want to get up on this or whatever before I start. Outside rain, feel good. Can't appreciate a sunny day without little cloudy days in between. Well, I'm gonna start off. I wanted to jump in real quick. I mean, with the whole Israelite DNA scenario, they're claiming the African tribes as being lost tribes of Israel. Well, I'm gonna start off with this right here to let people know real quick and real fast where this information is coming from and why these Israelite people are trying. What's going on, Ingrid? Or why these Israelite people are trying to claim these lost tribes, and even why some of the African tribes themselves are more or less thinking that they're Israelite people. Well, there's a doctor named Dr. Parfat, if I'm pronouncing his name right, who came up with the Cohen model of the DNA strand that the Israelites today are trying to use as fact finding of them being Israelites. Well, the thing is Dr. Parfat never said that these people were Israelites nor Jews at the end of the day. What the DNA results show is at some point in time, these people spent a lot of time in the Mediterranean area and have migrated from there down into Africa. Now, we could get to the part of DNA that talks a lot about before the Mediterranean migration. But at the end of the day, all the DNA states is that these people spent time in the Mediterranean. Now, at the end of the day, we know that there were hundreds of different people in the Mediterranean area, and all these people was not Israelites. Furthermore, there's no DNA test that you can take that will prove that you are an Israelite or a Jew for that matter. At the end of the day, if you take a DNA test today, trying to find out if you're an Israelite or Hebrew. I don't like to use the word Hebrew because Hebrew isn't the people. Hebrew is a language, and it was only documented as being a language in the 1300s because the original language is Phoenician. This is where we get the word phonics from. At the end of the day, you could do a comparison, and the Phoenician language come from the Comitian language. At the end of the day, I could pull up stuff and show y'all that. A little later on, I'll probably put up some posters in comparison so y'all can look at it. But at the end of the day, the Cohen model has nothing to do with being an Israelite, Hebrew, or Jew. It just states that if you have the part of the Y chromosome that states that you're from the Mediterranean area or your people existed there for some time before they migrated somewhere else, that's all it's proven, that these people spent time in the Mediterranean area. That's it. There's no test. There's no biblical prophets or anything that they can even have a model of to state that these people may have even came from these Israelites or Jewish people. Because what people have to understand is to be an Israelite isn't a bloodline thing. It's a belief, and you cannot science fact check mythos, because at the end of the day, you're dealing with mythology. The Bible is a mythical book. Even if you went to the library and you asked them, can they show you the Bible, they will take you to the mythological area at the end of the day. They won't take you to a scholarly area. You will go to where the mythical things are at the end of the day. So with that being said, we know that you cannot take a test to prove that you are Israelite, because it's nothing more than a belief. So dealing with the Cohen model of DNA that was made by Dr. Parfat, it has nothing to do with you being an Israelite or Jew or Hebrew for that matter. It only tells you that your people spent a significant time in the Mediterranean. That's all it states. That's it. There's nothing for you to... there's nothing for you to compare it to, because there's nobody to find. If you try to test your DNA today to find out if you're Jewish, then you will be testing your DNA against Khazars or Khazars, depending on how you pronounce it or what you're reading. You'll be testing your DNA against a Khazar Jew. And we all know that the Khazar people are Khazar people, and they was not made or pronounced as being Jews until later on at the end of the day. So you cannot fact-base yourself being an Israelite. Now, dealing with the African tribes, I've been reading, they're saying that, the Legba tribe are Israelites. They have 12 tribes amongst them, this, that, and the other. We're going to go into the full breakdown of that, because if they had their tribes set up like how the tribes of the Israelites, first of all, what we have to understand or understand is that this 12 tribe thing is fairly new, because when you read into the Bible, there's more than 12 tribes. And then you had the dismissal of tribes in the KJV version of the Bible. But when you read older Bibles, there's no dismissal of tribes. There are more than 12 tribes of Israel. If you want to say that Israelites were people or whatever at the end of the day, there's only 12 tribes of them. I mean, yeah, now today, but there were more than 12 tribes of them in the Bible. So how can you have your stuff broke down at that time? And then furthermore, when you look into it, at the time that these people claiming to have even came down here from the Mediterranean into Africa, they wasn't around for the discussions, I guess you might want to say, of other tribes being disbanded from Israel. So they will be consciously still moving how they was moving before the other tribes was dispersed from Israel at the end of the day. This is facts, because they claiming that they came down into Africa maybe around the 700s, 800s, when Jewish scholars know for a fact that all them people was around Mount Sinai at that time, and no one came down into Africa. Although we see that the Legba tribe are indigenous to Africa by DNA. But dealing with the Legba tribe, and they have tribes within the larger group, there's only one tribe that has a significance showing in their DNA that states that them people spent time in the Mediterranean, and that's the Buba or Babu tribe, which they are saying are the high priest of the Legba tribe. They are the only tribe of the Legba tribe that shows Mediterranean significance in their DNA. They're the only ones, and they're a small tribe of people. See, at the end of the day, this is the crazy shit. You're not gonna tell me that you're not gonna tell any well-thinking person that think on their own that 7 men from Israel came down into Africa and converted and changed all these people DNA-wise into Israelites. And now the Legba tribe does not let men or women marry outside of the tribe. Now, with that being said, when these 7 Israelites came down into when the 7 Israelites came down into Africa and they took wives of African women, you understand what I'm saying? And they had children, and they had children, and they had children. Like, at the end of the day, what you gotta realize is we're mixing with African blood. And then if them 7 men came down into the Legba tribe, and the Legba tribe is originally from Africa, at the end of the day, they had to have, boom, we just gonna break it down, we could do the math on it. At the end of the day, you had 7 men versus thousands of motherfucking African people of African origin. And they came and mixed their seed with them. Do you believe now in 2018 going into 2019 that them people are Israelites anymore? Even if they was. Now listen, we had 7 men that came into a group of thousands. Ain't no Israelite blood in there. If you believe the story that the Israelites came there, it's not the interpretations on what, sister? Like as far as as far as the DNA test itself, the DNA test, Dr. Pratt is a black man. I mean, Parfait is a black man. You understand what I'm saying? That's doing this at the end of the day because he's trying to. He has an invested interest on helping his people find their truth, although he never took a DNA test on himself. He admits that. But he also admits that he never said that the Cohen model had anything to do with an Israelite, Jew, or Hebrew. It's people interpretations. They just reading like the header of the links that they go into. And all the headers of the links say, oh, lost tribe of Israel found in Africa, da-da-da-da, until you read it. And when you read it, it does not say none of that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to take the God word verbatim because I haven't seen anything or it wasn't proven that he's a shyster or anything like that. In fact, the people kept saying that his works say that they're Israelites and he had to make an article to disprove that he did not say that at all. So at the end of the day, you know what I mean? Like, I had to roll with him. I'd rather roll with him than to roll with a white man telling me something different. You feel me? At the end of the day, because he hasn't given me a reason not to trust him at the end of the day. Like a red flag would have been him just saying like, yeah, they Israelites, knowing that there's nothing to test against. He got and said that at the end of the day, there's no such thing of that. He wouldn't even use, his own words was he wouldn't even use a DNA test to prove that someone was an Israelite just for the simple fact that science can't prove myth. And if science can't, what's going on, Zay? And if science can't prove myth, then why even waste your time trying to do something that we know isn't real? At the end of the day, I take his interpretation, sis, Akiba, as yeah, but you know what I mean, at the end of the day, that there's no proof to prove and there's no test to prove that you are an Israelite because there's nothing to test your DNA against, because no one in the Bible except for King Hezekiah was ever found. And we know that King Hezekiah was not black at the end of the day. And like I said previously, the only way you gonna get your DNA tested against anything to prove that you're a Jew, it'll be tested against the Khazar at the end of the day. And we know for a fact that the Khazars are white people or pink people at the end of the day. So, you know what I mean? It's just a lot of things to take into consideration. But I understand how people see stuff and read stuff and want stuff to be so true that they fail to read the whole thing and they just jump head first into it. Just like the Igbo tribe, the Igbo or Igbo tribe. They're not Israelites either. See, the thing about it is when people engulf themselves into a religious belief system, you actually live your life according to that belief. So after years and years and generations of people living a certain way, you will believe that you are these people. That's like us today. Most of us are Christian in America. We Christian because our parents was Christian, their parents was Christian, their parents was Christian, Catholic, whatever. So today you ask somebody like, oh, what is you? Oh, we Christian, we're Catholic. We're this, we're that. At the end of the day, you're none of that. Because none of that was found in Africa. We had none of that before we were slaves. Not to say that Christianity was not in Africa before the slave trade, because it was. Because what you have to remember, even before in the 600 AD, before the Arabs ran into Africa and colonized and took over everything and made us slaves, you feel me? The Christians did the same thing. So that's why we have Muslims in Africa and Christians in Africa and Christian churches and all types of goofy shit like that. Know what I mean? Because we was colonized. They gave us a book. They gave us their ideology of what was already ours, our spirituality, and because they lack in brain capacity, you understand what I'm saying? They took it as their understanding, stripped us of all our knowledge, and then gave it back to us from their standpoint. At the end of the day, this is a fact. There wasn't none of that in Africa prior to a lot of things. Like we talk about the church. I just had a discussion with somebody about the church, the Ethiopian church in Africa that was built in 690 AD. It was not built in 690 AD. You can look this up. This is a fact. There was a church. When we say church, we mean a body of people that believe in the same thing, that moved in the same way. You feel me? Not a building. That building was not built in 690 AD. It was not, at the end of the day. And just because it was a building there doesn't mean that it's right. You ask a Israelite or a Christian person about Jerusalem, and they gonna tell you that's a Christian place, even though the Dome of the Rock there. You understand what I'm saying? So just because you see things, I'm good, LaWanda. But just because you see things in places don't mean that that was originally there. At the end of the day, them people are African, but at the end of the day, you got Israelites that hate on African people. How can you hate on African people when the first church, the first Israelite churches in America was African? They were African churches. ISUPK was an African startup. African people did that. You understand what I'm saying? But they out here today banging on African people. You understand what I'm saying? At the end of the day, like, that's just what it is. But people get caught up in the ignorance and the rhetoric of people talking. You got people that are supposed to be named people that say this and say that, and shit is taken verbatim without research. At the end of the day, and that's what we lack at on many different levels. We don't do no research on anything. We hear certain person say something and we run with it. Oh, that's what it is because such and such said it, and such said this, and such said that. Now I got people coming up to me like, oh, Dr. Henry Clark said this. I don't give a fuck what Dr. Henry Clark said. I ain't taking nothing away from the man, you feel me? He one of our elders, he one of our scholars. A lot of shit that we know today we would not know if it wasn't for him. But at the end of the day, just because he said some shit don't mean you take it verbatim. I don't. At the end of the day, he say something, anybody say something, I go and research it myself. You understand what I'm saying? I go research it myself so I can know myself. So when I build with somebody on this very conversation, at the end of the day, I don't sound like a fucking parrot. You understand what I'm saying? I ain't up in here sounding like a parrot. I ain't up here repeating word for word what that man said. You know why I'm not repeating word for word what that man said? Because I have my own divine understanding. Because I did the research on it at the end of the day. Well, most people not doing that. Most people just hear shit, take people's word for verbatim, and that's it. I'm not doing none of that. I do my own research. I find my own things. I come across shit that other people don't come across. I view things differently than other people view them. You understand what I'm saying? So I take into consideration of what they saying and look at it from the angles that they applying, but I know that it's more than one angle. You understand what I'm saying? I was always told if you want to think outside the box, you feel me, that you need more than 18 thoughts because a box contains 18 different angles. You understand what I'm saying? So until you reach your 19th thought or angle of view, you still inside the box at the end of the day. But, you know, that probably went over some people's head. And at the end of the day, you know, I'm not into all the, because he said it is right. You understand what I'm saying? Because just because he said it don't mean it's right. Depending on when he said it, he was dealing with the information that they had at hand at that point in time. You understand what I'm saying? That should have been some shit from 20 years ago. You understand what I'm saying? But now, 20 years later, we have better technology. You feel me? We finding more things. But at the end of the day, we still ain't find nobody out the Bible, so there's still no way to do no actual DNA sciences to prove that you were or wasn't something at the end of the day. And I don't think that's something that we'll ever be able to prove. You're an Israelite, you're an Israelite, you're an Israelite by faith. You're not an Israelite by blood. You can't be an Israelite by blood because it's a faith-based objective at the end of the day. And if you're dealing with a faith-based thing at the end of the day, then that means that you can't test that by science. You just can't. It will not happen. At the end of the day, know what I mean? And them tribes that's in Africa, some of them people within them tribes might have migrated from the Mediterranean. I mean, in their DNA it states that. You feel me? But that doesn't mean that they were Israelites at the end of the day. And you look at these people in their face, they look African. They don't look something else. They look African at the end of the day. Know what I mean? You want to be technical about it. I think Israelites would be more better, but that means they will have to concede to some things they don't want to concede to. Things like the Israelites, for the most part, were a bunch of Canaanites or Canaan people at the end of the day, with a mixture of sheep herders from Central Africa. I mean, I know some of y'all had to read the stories, you know what I mean, to be able to make certain connections, to see certain things. You know what I mean, at the end of the day, because at the end of the day, what we have to understand is the cult of Yahweh was done for economic reason. It wasn't done for, you know what I mean, because according to the Bible, it was more than one God in the OT. You know what I mean? You have Yahweh, you have the God El, you got El Shaddai. You know what I mean? It was several gods back then. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. Like some people say shit to me like, you disrespect the Bible because you be typing Babul, Bybull. But then I ask why you think I spell it that way. They say because you saying it's bullshit. No, I'm not. What you have to understand is that Yahweh depiction when he was in the Mediterranean was that of a golden calf. The same calf that they was worshiping at the bottom of Mount Sinai when Moses went up to the top of the mountain to receive the commandments from God. When Moses got back down there, he seen the people circled around a golden bull, which was Yahweh. At that time, them people wasn't messing with Yahweh. They was messing with El. That's why the prophets' names all incorporate El at the end, which will really be the beginning, viewing it from the perspective that we're viewing it from because of where we are today. You feel me? Like Israel. Just going off the whole name Israel. Like y'all said, Jacob's name was changed to Israel. That's a misnomer. It was not. Jacob's name was changed to Israel. And the El is a title name because he was a prophet. At the end of the day, like a doctor. Their title will be DR for doctor. Same way with the prophets. His name was changed to Israel. And his title name was El. And that's how they get Israel today. But his name was not changed to Israel. It was changed to Israel. Like it says in the Quran at the end of the day. But you got a lot of people standing out here, standing around fighting for different ideologies, things of that nature, and don't even have a full understanding of their ideology at the end of the day. Because if you had a full understanding of it, you wouldn't run around here saying shit from the angle of a misnomer at the end of the day. So we know that Israel name was in fact changed to Israel, and the L was just a title name. We know that the people that they are claiming to be Jews or Israelites in Africa are in fact not Israelites. They DNA just shows that they spent time in the Mediterranean. Now, in order for us to say that those people are Israelites, we have to say that everyone in the Mediterranean was Israelites, and we know that for a fact that's not true. That is not true. So, going off of this, I just wanted to kind of kill the whole DNA shit and them talking about, oh, we have DNA proof of being Israelites when y'all dealing with the Cohen model of DNA invented by Dr. Parfait. And he himself said that this has nothing to do with Judaism, Hebrews, or Israelites. All it means is these people have spent a significant amount of time in the past in the Mediterranean area. Period. That's it. So hopefully this will clear that shit up about people saying that we have DNA tests proving that we're Israelites, because it doesn't exist. At the end of the day, it doesn't exist. Now, moving on, I was having a discussion on maybe a half an hour before I started the video about wars. Just so happened a guy was reading a book talking about the First World War, and he heard me having a conversation with somebody else, so he asked me my thoughts on it. It's a pink guy. I don't have no thoughts on no wars fought amongst white people and themselves. And I say that because we fantasize these wars like the Jews with World War I. And they tell you that all these millions of Jews was killed, but we know for a fact, this going off of science and numbers, that all them people couldn't have been killed in the way that they said they were killed over the course of time that they were there. The numbers was changed 5 times. I think the accepted number of how many Jewish Khazar people were killed is around 500,000 now. 400,000, something like that. That's the more accepted number. And they making the shit up at the end of the day. They making it up. Like, the shit ain't happened. But whatever. They want to talk about the other war, World War II. I don't want to talk about no war with no other people because there's still a war going on today. He didn't understand what I meant. There's a war going on. These people killing us. It's black people. It's been a war against black people since probably the time that we came together and met with these people. You feel me? At the end of the day. This is a fact. Black people being killed every day. We being treated. We in the worstest conditions in a country that we shouldn't even be in. We have got no reparations. You feel me? In fact, they rather us forget the shit. Even though everyone else that they had an encounter with that they done fucked over have got reparations, land, money, upwards into the millions of dollars for each individual. You understand what I'm saying? And you sit back and wonder how the fuck Indians got casinos and shit. Know what I mean? Like, this is the money that they paying them back. Of course, they got, know what I mean, shareholders agreements and shit where the white man can motherfucking eat off of whatever money they making, a percentage. Know what I mean? But at the end of the day, us, we not getting shit. We're being looked at as motherfuckers that just need to go ahead and get over some shit that's still continuing to happen to us today. And we talking about voting. How the fuck my vote matter if my life don't matter? You understand what I'm saying? There is the illusion of inclusion. And most black people want to be included in something because they don't have nothing else to hold on to. And they hate themselves so much to where they don't even want to learn about themselves or their culture. At the end of the day. You feel me? So we'd rather jump head first into some shit that really ain't got nothing to do with us. Know what I mean? Just to prove that we are a part of something or to prove that we are down with something at the end of the day. She ain't got nothing to do with us. We run around out this motherfucker trying to celebrate everything, trying to be the best of they shit. All like, the shit is weird. It's weird. I don't have thoughts for wars fought by other people against other people because we have yet to still receive anything. Anything. I mean, shit, is wars going on still against us now. And over in the motherland, in Africa, we don't even gotta just talk about the United States. The poorest fucking countries over in Africa, right now, the poorest countries in Africa are the highest in precious metals and resources. But the industry for that is an independent industry owned by pink people. You understand what I'm saying? And there's no restitution going to the people who land that they're in taking this shit out of. There's no money trickling down from that industry into the streets or into the land of where they robbing the people, where they taking all the gold, the silicon, the palladium, other precious metals at the end of the day. You understand what I'm saying? There's none of that being took. Peace, God. Know what I mean? At the end of the day, there's nothing coming back to them people. And if you look at that, if you look at it, like really objectively look at it, the poorest countries in Africa are the ones that are the most wealthy in resources. This is a fucking fact. You understand what I'm saying? And these people over there living shitty ass lives. Lives fucked up. And they still trying to be included into some goofy shit because they running around, still want to indoctrinate themselves into the shit so deep that they not even indoctrinating us no more. We indoctrinating ourselves. We've been doing this shit for generations. That's why, like I said earlier, we running around in America believing we Christians and Catholics and shit because our great grandparents and shit believe the same thing. So we running around here thinking we that. We not that. We the original man and woman. We are the original beings here. You understand what I'm saying? And all this shit, you can look at the bullshit and see the perversion in it. You know what I'm saying? But you'd rather be more a part of that perversion than to find out who the fuck you really are. That's the kind of shit I got a problem with. You know what I'm saying? Because we could sit out here and we could talk. I look at people who have Facebook videos or debating for hours with each other over bullshit. As you ask a motherfucker something about like, yo, how we really gonna come together as a people? And the first thing a motherfucker say if you don't got the same ideology that they got is, you not my people. Motherfucker, this shit is divide and conquer. Like, it's the oldest shit in the book. Divide and conquer. I'm gonna take a bunch of you motherfuckers, I'm gonna split y'all up. I'm gonna give you something they ain't got. I'm gonna give them something you ain't got. And I'm gonna whisper in both of y'all ears and tell you that you better than the other one. And then I'm gonna let y'all motherfuckers rip on each other. Come on, man. Shit crazy. Shit is crazy. And you know what's even more crazy than that? I used to have a mind for that shit. You understand what I'm saying? And keeping it a hundred. Know what I mean? Like, I got my brother right here. He on, know what I mean? I don't know if he's still watching. Well, Anthony Cruz. Know what I mean? Like, he got me. I used to look at the 5% Nation. You understand what I'm saying? Like, a lot. The shit's together. It's together. I just had like certain things. I knocked it because of certain small things, and he broke it down to me. You understand what I'm saying? Now I get them lessons. You understand what I'm saying? And he had to break it down for me because I was looking at it from a angle that shouldn't even been looked at like that. When I should have been, I was looking at it from an angle of persecution instead of overstanding. You understand? He gave me overstanding, which a lot of other people couldn't. You understand what I'm saying? And he gave me a particular type of overstanding to where I looked at it and I reevaluated. And the shit crazy because after he gave me the overstanding, you know what I mean, and I obtained the knowledge that I needed to obtain, I couldn't even look at it the same. I didn't have, it was like somebody replaced my eyes with a different set of eyes. What's going on, Eddie? Know what I mean, at the end of the day. You feel me? So, like, we need to stop coming at each other or looking at each other like, oh, we not the same just because our ideologies is different. You feel me? At the end of the day. Because at the end of the day, it's all just a belief. For the most part, you know what I'm saying? Unless it's dealing with profound knowledge. It's just a belief. So at the end of the day, you telling me because we don't have the same ideology that we're not brothers is also a belief. You understand what I'm saying? That is also a belief. You believe we're not brothers. I bet you if we go and take a test and show that we are brothers. We are the same. You understand what I'm saying? At the end of the day. We really need to stop with the bullshit. You feel me? Stop speaking upon things if you don't have the knowledge of it, or stop this bit breaking pieces off that sound good to you and try to run with it verbatim. Because now what you're doing is you hurting the community. You putting out false knowledge. You understand what I'm saying? You putting out false knowledge just to support some bullshit that you believe. You feel me? And don't take it disrespectful because I'm saying bullshit. I'm just talking, I have a conversation. I'm from the streets, bro. You understand what I'm saying? But it's bullshit. Shit bullshit. Know what I mean? At the end of the day, that's what I'm saying about the Israelites, because I made this post to get something clear about the Israelites. You understand what I'm saying? That's why I keep referring back to Israelites. If I made a post about a different group of people, I'll be referring to them groups of people, even though I'm talking to everybody. Know what I mean? At the end of the day. Know what I mean? But at the end of the day, like I said, the first motherfucking Hebrew Israelite temples, churches, or whatever the fuck you want to call them in America, said African on it first. Like the ISUPK. It said the African Church of Yahweh. ISUPK. You understand what I'm saying? So for you to run around banging on motherfuckers. Then I spoke to some preaching Israelites that be out on the street. And then the guy told me out of his mouth, he said, bro, the only reason why we do this, like for real, is because, you know what I mean, we trying to get people to focus on one thing, you know. But why would you take away, see, that's dangerous, because you're taking away heritage. You're taking away heritage from our people. See, people say, oh, Vice, why you always caught up in the past, bro? The past is the past. Well, I was always told, if you don't know the fuck you is, then how the fuck can you motivate and go anywhere else? If you don't know where you came from, then you don't know where you going. You understand what I'm saying? That's why a lot of us run around out this motherfucker lost. And we can't make nothing of nothing because we have nothing. And why we don't have nothing? Because we don't know shit. Because we don't know shit. And that's sad. Especially in the age of technology. How the fuck we in the age of technology? Yo, fact. This is a fact. Our phones contain the same components as the fucking supercomputer back in 1967. Fact. You can Google that. You understand what I'm saying? You can Google that. So with that being said, and we in an age of technology, it's a fucking shame that motherfuckers are running around being dumb, not knowing shit, not looking nothing up, not trying to better yourself, and in turn bettering yourself, you bettering your seed. You understand what I'm saying? Because right now, all the shit that we doing right now to better ourselves ain't gonna better us. I'm gonna keep that real with you. It is not gonna better us in this state. You understand what I'm saying? What we do now, what we learn now, the knowledge that we pass now is gonna better our seed and their seed. You understand what I'm saying? At the end of the day, a generation has to be made sacrifice. This is a fact. A generation has to be made sacrificed. You understand what I'm saying? Why not let it be this generation? Being that we know. And what I mean by that is for any man or woman out here that has children, right? You want your children to live a better life than you had to live in this country, in this world, right? Right? That's a fact, right? So at the end of the day, you have to make the necessary sacrifice in order for your children to live better. You understand what I'm saying? Because the generation before us didn't make that sacrifice because we got caught up in the motherfucking era of drugs, into the communities and the poverty living. You feel me? But the generation before that, know what I mean, went out and tried to make that sacrifice to make it better for us. And in ways they did make it better for us. But it's like we turned around and gave them the motherfucking finger because look where we at now. Look what the fuck we're doing. Regardless of we agreed or not, regardless if you a Martin Luther King nigga or you a Malcolm X nigga, you feel me? That we know the ideologies is different and we're not even talking about this religion. You understand what I'm saying? One was by any means necessary, the other one was, you know what I mean, let somebody hit you with a brick and keep on fucking trucking. You understand what I'm saying? So the ideology was different. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, they make sacrifices for us. You feel me? And today what we do, turn around and give them our motherfucking finger. They died for nothing. They did what they did for nothing. For no reason. Just for us to be out here arguing with one another, trying to prove that we not brothers and sisters. Because you believe in one thing and I believe in something different. Regardless to the facts that dispute the shit. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, I try to do a giveaway. I want to do one for Christmas even though I don't celebrate because we're in America and I know most of my people celebrate. And I want my people to see that they people was doing something for them. You understand what I'm saying? That's how I've been doing this for the past 6 years. You understand what I'm saying? At the end of the day. You know what I mean? We fucked up. So we need to make the necessary steps, take the necessary precautions to make sure that our kids grow up in a better society, or at least our grandkids. You understand what I'm saying? Yo, it's crazy. My son 10 years old. I can give him the phone. He can sit up here and have the same conversation that we having right now. You understand what I'm saying? I made it that way. Not so he can run around and be arrogant, because he is a little arrogant. He young. You feel me? You expect that. Know what I mean? He don't got full overstanding yet. Know what I mean? But at the end of the day, know what I mean? He's gonna make things better for his kid. I'm gonna make shit better for him. If we all came together and had the same mind frame, regardless of what your ideology is, then at the end of the day, this shit'll work out for us. Know what I mean? But we steady want to follow the illusion of inclusion. We want to be down with some shit that we can't be down with. That you shouldn't want to be down with. At the end of the day, people talking about the Jewish war, what happened to the Jews, oh, what happened to these people, what happened to those people. What the fuck is still happening to us today? You understand what I'm saying? What's happening to us today? We got so much self-fucking hate, bro, that a white man come up to you right now and put a gun in your hand, the first motherfucker you gonna shoot ain't gonna be him. How about this? He'll never get shot. He'll never get shot. But I bet you'll walk down the street and shoot a motherfucker you grew up with. Because y'all had an argument over $5. You understand what I'm saying? Like, shit is real. Shit is real. And I'm going to get back with y'all real quick because I know there's a couple other things I need to touch on Know what I mean? It was just bothering me, being that I had gotten into a conversation with somebody about it. Know what I mean? At the end of the day, like, I deal with science. You know what I'm saying? I don't deal with the extra shit. You feel me? And everything can't be explained by science. This is a fact. But there's enough things that can be explained by science to prove that what you talking about or what you believe is myth. It is definitely myth. There's no truth behind it. At the end of the day, I just want my people to do better, be better. You know what I'm saying? Don't let people that are not for you come in between you. You feel me? And I won't even say like white people, because you got some white people out here. See, the thing is, like, motherfuckers be coming, oh, the white man is the devil, this, and the white man is the devil. It's black devils too. You know what I'm saying? And the shit that's crazy is, although the black devils may not be as financially rich as the white devils, the black devils are more dangerous. Because those are the same motherfuckers that's sitting up next to you. You know what I'm saying? Same motherfuckers that's sitting up next to you. That is plotting, they slow walking you. That's what they doing. They slow walking you. Black devils are more dangerous. And it's not coming from a lane of self-hate. You understand what I'm saying? This is coming from a plane of facts. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna let no white man sit next to me. You feel me? Not like how I'm gonna let my brother sit next to me. But how I let my brother sit next to me, he got all ample opportunity to hug me from the front and stab me in the back. You know what I'm saying? Pink man can't do that to me. You know what I'm saying? Because there's just certain things that I would not do with them that I'll do with my brother. That's food for thought right there. You know what I'm saying? That's food for thought. So a lot of things need to be taken into consideration. That's not being taken into consideration at the end of the day. There's a lot of things that's not how it should be. And instead of y'all out here banging on one another, how about you formulate together? Sit your ideology to the side for a minute. You feel me? Come together. Like, if you don't like me at the end of the day, nigga, we look the same. Fuck all that. Fuck all that. Let's put our differences to the side, come together, fight against our real enemy. And after we get them the fuck up out the way, nigga, we could carry back on what the fuck it was we was doing. Nigga, rather it's hating each other, loving each other, whatever. But at this point, we need to come together. It's strength in numbers. And at the end of the day, when they came and got us, they got us all from the same one motherfucking spot, nigga. The coast of West Africa. Know the shit. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, 7 men ain't gonna change the phenotype or the blood type of thousands of people. But thousands of people will wipe the blood type DNA of motherfucking 7 people off the map. That is a fact. So just going with that, like I said, brothers and sisters, know what I mean? I ain't trying to beat y'all down. It is just something that was weighing on my chest. I told y'all I had a conversation prior to me doing this. Know what I mean? And it's things that people need to know. The next time you talking to an Israelite or whatever, and they start telling you about this, that, and the third, and want to talking that separation shit, you feel me? You go directly to where they got their source from. Most of them don't even know. They just listening to other motherfuckers say it. They talking about the Cohen model by Dr. Pratt, and him himself said it out his mouth that this has nothing to do with being a Hebrew Jew or Israelite at all. It only states that this person or this person's lineage spent a significant time in the Mediterranean. That's all it means. I'm gonna get back at y'all. Either y'all got something that y'all might want me to build on, y'all can let me know what I mean? And if I got whatever knowledge I got on it, I'll put it down. You feel me? If I don't know something about it, you feel me? Or if you actually feel as though you want to learn me, you want to teach me something that you think I might not know or might not be clear on, let me know. Let me know. I will definitely take the bill. All right, peace, brothers and sisters. Thanks, man.